Hello, friends. Welcome to the Journey of Self. This is your coach, Manaz Amjad, and in this series, we will be embarking on a journey together with an intention to help you take one step closer to your best self. This series is designed to help you overcome obstacles that are holding you back from living your best life. Let's get started. Our today's title is Avoid the Blanket Approach. I have designed this episode basis on the number of emails and queries and people reaching out to me via Quora and other social media platforms wherever my firm is active on with their feeds. And a very common question that comes my way is what can we do specific to career struggles? How do I recover the time that I've lost in the mistakes that I've done in my early on in my career, or what I could do better going forward? Or some are people stuck in their careers, or some are stuck because of their toxic bosses, some are struggling because of the role that's not engaging but it offers good money. They have dependents, a family to take care of, and then there for some people there's a constant fight to really understand what is it that really sink in with their interest, what is it that they are passionate about, and how could be whatever tool that they could use, and how could one really arrive at a point where one could really understand, okay, these are my knowledge, these are my skills, these are my abilities. How do I put them to the best use of it and accordingly take up a job? So there are like multiple questions that I constantly answer on Quora, but at the same time, I also reply back to most of the people who reach out to me and who connects with me. They take time to speak with me. But this particular session that I am speaking with you as you hear me is with an intention to avoid that blanket approach. And that's how I have titled it. And the blanket approach here, friends, is of all these people that I just mentioned to you, one of the most common thing that I found people doing is trying to figure it out all by themselves. So a blanket approach means if you're struggling in your career, you go grab a self-development book on some tips on career management, or you go read some answers, or you do run a internet search. That's a blanket approach because it may guide you, may provide you some instructions, may give you some tips. However, it doesn't really address the unique one individual issue that you have at hand. So if from the number of clients that I serve on a daily basis, I can create a blanket approach and then come up with lot of lectures and such podcast, but it won't be of any good help to anyone. The reason being, we as individuals are unique. Our lives are unique, and so is our careers, and within which each of us are at different phases in lives. Therefore, our struggles are very different. So a tip, some kind of guideline, some best practices or technique can help all of us, but will not really help us address the exact issue that we are struggling with. So it's like the paracetamol or the crocin tablet. We all try to eat, self-medicate if someone has a mild fever or cold, because it's a mostly common used drug for fever and cold. However, if after a while the fever just doesn't subside or there are other symptoms, that's not what the cure lies. Same way, if you really are struggling in your careers, if there is a specific need, there's an issue, understand that it cannot be solved through a blanket approach. So avoid the blanket approach. And what you could do instead is sit and try to first figure out if this particular issue or your struggle in your career has been going on for a very long time, and regardless of the number of books you've read or the tips you've followed, how would you've not really been able to really find a solution to it? So, which means you need help. And one of the best ways that you could seek help is by hiring a coach. I am not trying to advocate my own services here. You can go ahead and hire yourself any coach that you are most comfortable with, a coach that you feel is somebody in your own location, your city, your country, and also someone you know and you feel most comfortable with sharing your struggles, your issues. At the same time, a coach that's affordable, reasonable enough, and who you think can really help you. Avoid the blanket approach, friends, because we all live a unique and a different life. To some extent, yes, we can follow these practices, but after a point, if the problem lingers on, then also remember that once the time is gone, specific to our role, our age, and the organization we are part of, we cannot turn the wheels of time and relive our roles and jobs again. So it's far much better to stop wasting our time, stop just doing those workarounds around the career struggles we are going through. Instead, look for the coach, the person who could really help you find that a permanent solution to the problem that you're going through. So avoid the blanket approach and make sure that you find a solution to your problem, not just for once, but forever. So the call to action for you today is go back. If the first thing you need to do is simply scan through if there are any struggles that you've been facing in your job, in your role, in your company, which you feel has been lingering on for a very long time, and the time period here is not months, but let's say 2 to 3 years, and you still feel this is something that you somehow need to solve, but you're still not able to. There are also cases where you may find, how do I even identify that? Because perhaps not everyone is well aware enough to really identify that. So whatever the case may be, whether you're able to identify a problem or whether you're not really able to identify, if any place in your life you feel you are struggling in your career, in any aspect, simply check it against the time that you've been constantly being bothered about that problem. If it is 2 years and more, please reach out, seek help from a coach. This will be one of the best investments of your life, and you can thank me for that later on, but this will really help you. You would then, I'm sure, I can guarantee you this, you would tell yourself, oh, I wish I had done this before. So do not hesitate and don't follow a blanket approach. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for being my listener, and I'll talk to you soon.